Hi there, my name's Dave, employment coach and founder of DC Recruiting. I've helped people from all employment sectors find a job they love. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to my podcast. This series includes job search journey tips. Hopefully, some of my tips will work for you. So let's get started. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me again for another podcast. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day so far. The topic for today is going to be how to narrow your job search. I'm going to talk about 3 different things today, but please don't think that this is an exhaustive list. There's so many different ways, techniques, things you can do to narrow your search down. I just thought I'd throw a few examples together for you. Number 1, use technology. It can help you get a spark when you can't decide what you want to do. Maybe you've never had a job before, maybe you're deciding whether or not you want to change field, or maybe you just got a shiny new piece of paper from a school somewhere, you've developed your skill set. And if you've done that, fantastic. But now you need to figure out what you're going to do with it. A while back when I was an employment counselor still, I would use Google Maps when a client couldn't figure out what they wanted to do. I would draw a little box around the neighborhood they lived in, or maybe just areas of the city they lived in, and then we would look inside of that box to see what kind of companies were there. And it helped a lot for people, for example, that needed to stay close to home. So we would look what was inside that box, and they would see a whole bunch of places that they might want to work for, or they might find some places they didn't want to work for, or even if they didn't want to work for a particular place, let's say they saw a pet store or something and they love animals. Well, maybe they wouldn't want to work for that pet store, but it might spark something and they would think, yeah, you know what, maybe I would want to work at a place like that. So you can do some investigating to see whether or not you have the skills to do that job, or, right, you can figure out the best way to attain that job, figure out things that you have to do. The next thing you can do is to use a website that not a lot of people know about. It's the NOC website. It's the National Occupational Classification. This is mainly for use in Canada, so if I have any American listeners, then there might be an equivalent there. But what this website is it just classifies every single job by a 4-digit number. And it's great because if you go to the website, you can do a job title search. So when you do that, you're going to get information such as the job title, example job titles, I should say. You're going to find out what the main duties are. You're going to see what the requirements are for the job, whether it's education or experience. You're also going to find there's a section that has additional information, so if there's any other things you need to know. And then they have a section for exclusions. So this could be, I can give you an example. Say you're looking at a truck driver job title. It'll give you a whole bunch of different job title duties, but then in the exclusions, it'll all have things like dispatchers and those, jobs that are related to that industry, but they're not in that industry. So that can also spark some ideas. If you think, wow, I do like trucks, but I don't want to be a truck driver. What else could I do that's involved in that industry? Another good example is aviation. A lot of people want to get into aviation, but they don't necessarily want to be a pilot, so they can look up other things. It's a great website. You can learn so much from it. And the extra bonuses of using the NOC website, there's 2 that I can think of now. You can grab keywords for your resume. A lot of employers out there use this website to write their job ads. So if you're going to the same location to either write a job ad or for a job seeker to write your resume, you can end up with a lot of the same terms and you're speaking the same language. The other big opportunity, of course, from the NOC website is you can tell if you have the skills or education. So it can identify areas where you might need to obtain new skills, or if you're going to use it for transferable skills, it's fantastic. So if you want to switch fields and you think, wow, I really want to try something else, let's just check out some of these postings and see on the NOC site and see whether or not I actually have the skills now. What can I take from here and move it over there? The final thing I was going to talk about today is to use online surveys. There's a ton of them out there now. I mean, a ton of them. You can do one of these surveys and see what field perhaps you should go into, or at least maybe spark some ideas of fields you should go into. I mean, by no stretch are these surveys the best things in the world, but if you're really, really, really stuck and you can't figure out what to do, it could be a good idea to do one of these. And again, just get your creative brain moving and think of some areas that you might want to work. Now, with all these tips too, don't forget, I mean, when you go through them, you might actually see things that you don't want, right? And that's important too. Sometimes figuring out what you don't want is getting that one step closer to what you do want. So take some time, put some thought into narrowing your search and see what you can come up with. Maybe try one of these or a couple of these techniques and see how they work out for you. It can just get your brain going and start you down a journey of narrowing down what field you want to go into. Thanks a lot for tuning in once again to my podcast. I hope you learned a couple of things. I hope that some of these techniques will help you narrow your search down. Again, have a great day, and I hope your job search goes well and you find your dream job. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned a thing or two along the way. Check out the website for more content, www.dc-recruiting.com.